It is utterly stunning that anyone at the court would leak a draft opinion.
So the person who did this, or persons, did a lot of damage to the rule of law in the United States.
It is a stunning reversal in American history that the court would take away a constitutional right after 50 years.
Countless women across America right now are feeling terrified and alone.
To today's big story, the shockwave through Capitol Hill and the nation and the future for abortion rights. The Supreme Court confirms a leaked draft opinion that would overturn Roe v. Wade is authentic, but not a final decision. We have team coverage tonight as reaction from state lawmakers pour in and questions are raised about what it could mean for the future of abortions in Indiana and the United States. We start tonight in D.C. The Chief Justice has ordered an immediate investigation into how the document became public.
But both sides are gearing up for a potential legal and political earthquake from the High Court. Karen Kafa reports.
President Joe Biden describing a draft opinion by the Supreme Court that would overturn Roe v. Wade as radical.
It would mean that every other decision relating to the notion of privacy is thrown into question.
The Supreme Court has confirmed the authenticity of the document published by Politico Monday night, a draft of a majority opinion in Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization, a case regarding Mississippi's law banning most abortions after 15 weeks. The case is a direct challenge to the precedent established in Roe v. Wade in 1973 and affirmed in Planned Parenthood v. Casey in 1992. The government cannot interfere with an individual's choice to terminate a pregnancy before viability outside the womb at about 23 weeks. A right protected under the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. The draft, written by conservative Justice Samuel Alito, describes the reasoning in Roe as exceptionally weak. On Capitol Hill, Senate Democrats, without enough votes to codify the right to an abortion into law, laying blame for the potential reversal.
Women in this country are paying for the fact that the Republicans have basically sabotaged the Supreme Court.
While Republicans critical of how the draft came to light.
This lawless action should be investigated and punished.
Chief Justice John Roberts said in a statement he has ordered an investigation. The Supreme Court said Tuesday the document is not a final opinion. The highly anticipated opinion is expected to be among the last issued this term in late June or July. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Some Indiana lawmakers are already taking steps on abortion law if the Supreme Court ruling overturns Roe. Let's get to News 8's political reporter Garrett Berquist that has that part of our team coverage.
And Jasmine, Republican leaders in both chambers already have asked Governor Eric Holcomb to call a special session in the event Roe v. Wade is overturned. That request came in March. House Speaker Todd Huston was among those who called for a special session. He issued a statement today saying the vast majority of House Republicans, including myself, have been abundantly clear that we want to take action to further protect life should the U.S. Supreme Court overturn in full or in part Roe. Senate President Pro Tem Rod Bray says a leak of this magnitude is certainly surprising, but if it is true that this is the direction the court is headed, it is good news and suggests Indiana will be in a position to improve our record as a strong defender of life. I caught up with Senator Shelley Yoder this afternoon. She says if the court follows the draft ruling, it would allow lawmakers to undermine a host of rulings and rights that were enshrined through the 14th Amendment.
Roe is the foundation for many other rights that we observe. The right to marriage, the freedom to marry, that was really looked to on the Roe decision. So I think this is the beginning of an undermining of our democracy, of us being a country with privileges, of choice, and it's one that we should all be very deeply concerned about and speaking out on.
A lot of this turns on Governor Eric Holcomb. He said today, before further commenting on a leaked draft document out of the Supreme Court, like the rest of the country, I'll wait to review the official and final decision they release on the matter in the few weeks and months ahead. Senate Minority Leader Greg Taylor says he fears how Indiana lawmakers respond to this potential ruling could set legislative precedent. I'll have more on that at 6. Garrett Bergquist, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
Garrett, thank you. Very differing opinions from two members of Congress from Indiana, not only on the opinion, but what should happen if Roe v. Wade is overturned.
If the Supreme Court does indeed strike down Roe v. Wade, it will be one of the largest restrictions of rights in decades. You know, the Republican appointed justices, their draft opinion to overturn Roe v. Wade would go down really as an abomination, quite frankly. One of the worst and most damaging decisions in modern history.
My prayer is that that the courts absolutely overturn Roe v. Wade, but the court has to speak for itself without facing intimidation. And I think, what I'm hearing from my folks is even the Supreme Court, that, we can't just let this go through the system. The radical liberal left has a pattern of throwing years of longstanding decorum out the window when their point of view is threatened. And we just saw that happen.
Walorski went on to say that she hopes Indiana leads the way in quick action if Roe v. Wade is overturned. Carson wants Congress to take action to legalize abortion nationwide.
And Senator Mike Braun issued this statement here saying if the leaked opinion is accurate, then today is a landmark day for the sanctity of human life in our country. He goes on to say, I am 100% pro-life and pray it is true that the Supreme Court will follow through and save countless lives.
Let's continue our team coverage now with I-Teammates Richard Essex. Richard, I know today that you've been researching what happens in Indiana if Roe is overturned.
Well, if this legal decision or some version of it stands, it would not immediately make abortion illegal here in Indiana. 22 states have some version of law outlining most, if not all, abortions if Roe versus Wade is overturned. Indiana is not one of them yet. Herb Smith of the Indiana Family Institute has been working in and around the Indiana State House for decades to ban abortion. The leaked ruling would send the abortion debate back to individual states. Smith says Indiana has been at odds with Roe versus Wade since the 1973 Supreme Court ruling.
Our legislature, through the votes of the citizenry, will get to decide what abortion policy should be. And our legislature and our citizens have been at odds with Roe v. Wade since it was issued in 1973. So freedom in Indiana has grown today.
I went to the Planned Parenthood office on North Meridian this afternoon and was given the number for an administrative office. We left a message, but have not heard back. Emily Wells is the interim CEO of the Great Plains Planned Parenthood office in Oklahoma. She says her office has been planning for this day that the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade.
There is something empowering about being able to say out loud, this is what's happening. The Supreme Court is going to overturn Roe. It seems very clear in the draft decision that's the plan. And so now we mobilize and push back and fight for our patients.
Several abortion rights groups have been using social media today to spread the word that the abortions are still legal here in Indiana, and they are encouraging people, if you have an appointment, to keep it and to not cancel any upcoming appointments. At the State House, Richard Essex, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
Thank you, Richard. We continue our team coverage with News 8's multicultural reporter, Katira Winfrey. And Katira, I know you've spent time today digging into the stories of women who actually use abortion services right here in the state.
Absolutely. And in Indiana, it accounts for about 0.9% of abortions in the United States. That's according to the CDC. And organizers say no matter what side of the debate you're on, it's important to have facts. And in this case, data. An estimated 75% of overall abortion patients are considered poor or low income. According to the Guttmacher Institute, an agency focused on research and policy related to sexual and reproductive health.
People try to other folks and they say this is an urban issue or this is a rural issue. Well, guess what? This is an Indiana issue.
But the full abortion access breakdown is broad, impacting communities of multiple ethnic, education, and economic backgrounds. Additional information shows 40% of patients have some college education, 27% a high school diploma, and 23% college graduates.
Women's issues are not limited to our reproductive organs.
Rima Shahid is executive director of Women for Change. She follows legislation on women's issues and points to a recent ACLU of Indiana campaign launch. Let's Talk About Abortion. It's a campaign, organizers say, that provides a breakdown of data.
3 out of 5 Hoosiers know someone who's accessed abortion care, which isn't surprising because across the country, 1 out of 4 women will have had an abortion in their lifetime.
Using local surveys and data from places like the CDC, in Indiana, about 51% of abortion patients are white, 31% are black, and 9% Hispanic. People in the early to mid-20s are also more likely to undergo the procedure.
It's not limited to any particular demographic.
And the ACLU says in addition to the campaign, they have a conversation guide also available for those looking to expand the discussion with their friends and family. Reporting in the studio, I'm Wish TV News 8's multicultural reporter, Katira Winfrey.
All right, Katira, thank you very much. So, should the Supreme Court overturn Roe v. Wade? We want to know what you think at home. Grab your phone right now. Head over to wishtv.com. Scroll down to find our poll. So far, 66% say no, 26% say yes, and 8% are unsure.